How did this creation happen? In our school days, we learned that humans are evolved from chimpanzees. So, how far it is true? Primates, our ancestors, we say forefathers were all monkeys sitting in the trees. And from there, we all various kinds of monkeys, and then finally chimpanzees. Now we are human beings. So, what exactly happened? But looks like the Aitareya Upanishad straight away creates a human being. No, it does not create straight away human beings. Aitareya Upanishad is like a summary of the whole creation. Brahman thought, decided to create all the matter, energy, gases, liquids, and solids. See, all this took millions of years to happen. But Aitareya Upanishad says it in one line. Likewise, the creation of man also has taken millions of years in the human time frame. Like Aitareya Upanishad does say, then God said, let me create a cow. And other gods who reside as the power of the eyes, the faculty of smell, taste, touch. These forces said, we don't like this too much. It's not the best creation. Then he created a horse or whatever. He kept on creating. But Aitareya Upanishad is not going to start. First, God created a single cell amoeba and asked, are you all interested in this single cell amoeba? God said, we don't want it. It is very, very small. But single cell amoeba did get created. He kept it aside. Next, he created a multicellular organism and said, is this a good thing? Then said, no, this is also not good thing because we all cannot express ourselves fully in a multicell organism like this. Okay, fine, keep it aside. Then he created third thing, and then he asked the gods. Like that, I can tell you this story for another 100 years. If I take one organism and read Aitareya Upanishad based on that. Then God created chimpanzees and said, this is a good thing. He said, everything is good, but these chimpanzees are very funny looking. So he said, we don't like this expression of this chimpanzee. We want something more than that. Like that, the creation happened and evolved. Finally, God perfected his creation in man and said, this is the best I can do for you. All the other powers of nature, forces, they all said, this is the best creation. It walks on two legs, how balanced he is. Doesn't need all the four like chimpanzees. It can stand straight. No other people are able to stand straight. It is unique. Then it has got his own buddhi, which is far, far sharp than the buddhi of these chimpanzees and other people. His intelligence is far sharper. And above all, when everything got created, Brahman said that I also like it very much. I also would like to stay in this new abode called the human body. So though everything was created from Brahman, in everything Brahman's energy resides, the best place where Brahman manifests in all its glory is a human body. Like intelligence is in all. Even a small insect has an intelligence. Does it not have? If you try to kill the insect, will it not try to escape you? Means it knows that this is not good, this is dangerous, I must run. Try to kill a mosquito. You think mosquito will let you kill it so easily? No, because it is clever enough to escape. It can understand that this is death and that is life, this is danger and that is safety. Unless the mosquito is lost drinking blood, and then it is lost in the desire, then you can kill the mosquito. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Same way we get killed when we are also lost in the desire. Otherwise, mosquito has an intelligence, it escapes. Even an ant has intelligence. Any animal has intelligence. And they use their intelligence only limited way. What is the limited use of their intelligence? Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunamcha. Their whole intelligence is only four. It expresses in four ways. Ahara, how to find my food. Nidra, how to sleep safely, that nobody else should attack me, so they'll find places to sleep where nobody can attack them. Then bhaya, fear. What are the fears? If somebody kills me, fear of death is the biggest fear in animals. That is what kills them all the time. That in the sense that fear fills their minds. And also security, their children's security. And then what will happen tomorrow? Will I get enough food or not? So for that sake, they keep migrating from one place to the other in the search of food, in the search of safety, in the search of comforts. And then Maithuna, They always want to find their mate, and they want to mate and produce children. And as their season comes, they do that. So animals have these four things, their whole intelligence in these four ways only. For how to find their food, two, how to sleep and rest when they are tired, three, how to escape from death and any danger, fourth, how to find their partner and get children and progeny and enjoy that. Their intelligence is not used beyond that. You should see some of these animal intelligence so good. How bears migrate and climb up all the way against the river stream to find the fish. How they catch those fish, how they take care of their little ones after they come out from hibernation. There is a mechanism, they are all very intelligent. How the even small things like penguins or even rats, wild rats, how they escape danger and they perform mating dance. These birds and insects, even something as small as a little bee, it performs some mating dance to attract the opposite gender. That's all is their intelligence. Beyond that, they don't use their intelligence. So naturally, the God of intelligence is not happy. You created something, but you see, this is not the best expression of my intelligence. He's frustrated in those bodies. He wants to express himself fully, but can't. Eyes cannot express themselves fully in the animals. Why? They don't have all these millions of cones and rods like what we have in our eyes. They can only see limited colors. We can see so many colors, millions of colors we can see. Then animal tongue does not have these many taste buds as we have. We can taste so many things, but all animals cannot taste. Their tastes are generally insipid, one or two, three kinds of taste they have. Then ears. Some animals hear a certain frequency, some animals hear certain other frequencies. We hear certain other frequencies. In the frequency in which we hear, the most beautiful sounds are produced. Be it classical music, be it Western, be it all kinds of beautiful speech and sound are produced in this. Why the animals at the lower level cannot speak, or the animals with the higher frequency of hearing cannot speak? Because there is no formation of words in those frequencies. This frequency which we hear, 20 to 20,000 hertz, this is the frequency in which words can be produced correctly, can be heard correctly, can be interpreted correctly. Otherwise, lower frequency and higher frequency will be like one single sound or two sounds or five sounds. So like that, God, this whole evolution process has been described in very quick two steps. He got a horse, nobody liked it. He got a cow, nobody liked it. And then he got a human. But in between, from the single cell animal to all the way multicellular complex organisms, God created all of them in the process. And finally, the epitome of the creation was a human being, because he was so well endowed with the faculty, because God also perfected this work over a period of time. And the crest jewel of the creation was human being, because human being is one organism in whom all the faculties, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the Tanmatras, as he said, the Panchabhutas, they find the best expression. Human being's sight is like this, and they can see more than what is there, because they can think and see more. They can analyze, they can create microscopes or telescopes to see even further than what normal eyes can see. Other animals don't have this intelligence to create. So their use of their vision is so very powerful, because they have a intelligence which can create instruments that can further enhance their vision. See, our eyesights become bad. We immediately wear spectacles, we go to a doctor. Which animal can do that? If we have some problem and let us say something comes in our eyes, for example, cataract or something, we go to the doctor, we get it operated. Earlier it used to take 10 days, now 10 minutes, laser operations. So our sight we can protect and we can enhance. Our teeth and food and every habit we can protect and enhance. We can cook so many varieties of food. We can express our intelligence in so many myriad ways, be it in all the five senses of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Animals have very limited expression in that. The best animal, as I said, closest was this, you can call him a chimpanzee or whatever. But even he does not have that much of intelligence as we have. They have very limited intelligence. In human alone, the whole expression of the cosmic intelligence that Brahman is finds its complete expression. Therefore, in the process of evolution, yes, chimpanzees were there in between. But then eventually, as the thing kept on improving, he kept on improving and improving and improving. Finally, he came to a being called a human being, and there he stopped. He said, this cannot be improved further. This is the best. All the, so to say, divine beings who reside in us, the forces, the faculties, the powers of vision, taste, touch, smell, hearing, they became very happy. They said, this is the place where we can express ourselves the best. But if this human being goes back to spend all his intelligence just for ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna, then he is no better than animals. In fact, he is worse than animals, because animals don't have that intelligence to express themselves in better ways or to realize that they are Brahman only. This is not given to the animals. But in human beings, this is given. And if we use all our intelligence for this limited living, then we are worse than animals. This intelligence is very, very primitive, just to ensure that ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna is taken care of. Beyond that, they don't have intelligence to use. But we have so much of intelligence. And that intelligence, if goes unused or gets misused, abused in only these four pursuits, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna, then we are worse than animals. But that is the plight. You will say, no, we have the developed softwares and we have got search engines and we have got artificial intelligence and we are using it very well. Yes, but still it is not the best use of your intelligence. Still there is more that you can use this intelligence for. And what is that? To realize that that divinity is within, without and everywhere, and you are none other than Brahman. That is the highest use of the intelligence of human beings. Any use of intelligence is less than that, including producing some very, very super computers and highly efficient algorithms and artificial intelligence and transportation, communication. All this is still a lower use of human intelligence. Lowest, of course, is just food, sleep and all this. But the highest use of human intelligence is to perceive that hidden divinity in all. That intelligence, Sukshma Buddhi, that intelligence is what is required to understand Upanishads. So you may think, oh, Einstein was so very intelligent, but he used only 3, 4, 5% of his brains. With that only he discovered what he discovered. But the one whose buddhi merges into the cosmic buddhi, the higher intelligence, his brain is 100% utilized. It means not only he will do very well in the Adhyatmika, but he'll also in Adibhautika or Adilaukika, he'll do very well. That is why they say Vivekananda would just go through a book. This fat book he'll go through, just one quick scan, and you ask him any question from anywhere, he's able to answer. He will tell the page number also and tell this paragraph has that answer. That kind of memory, that kind of intelligence, how is it possible for anyone? That is because he used his intelligence for even higher purpose, which is to realize divinity, and thereby his memory, his analytical abilities, everything became very, very sharp. So this is the ultimate use of our human intelligence. So in the process of evolution, that's true, that we started from a single cell animal and then we ended up in this most complicated, complex human organism. But it is a process of evolution. Aitareya is a poetry. See, in poetry you get poetic licenses. So to explain the glory of Brahman in Aitareya Upanishad, the poetic license taken by the rishis is that Brahman by his sankalpa created and straight away fast forward human beings. And all the things in between science can sit and explain. That is science methodology. But spirituality goes to the core, crux, leaving all the rind, the flesh, the seed, it wants the juice. There, Aitareya Upanishad is like the juice, the essence of the Upanishad, idea of creation. Whereas the scientific theories of evolution and the universe and creation are like the rinds and seeds and flesh and things like that. But it's not the juice. The juice or the raso vaisaha, the rasa of the entire knowledge of creation is Aitareya Upanishad. Very quickly it goes. And why it says human being is the best? Because that is where all the powers find the best expression. No other creature has that power to express itself best. They may be physically very strong, some creatures, beasts. Some creatures are mentally very alert. Some creatures have very sharp vision. Some creatures have some special hearing abilities. Some creatures have beautiful skins, colored, feathers, fur, which we don't have, nails and things like that. But all of these creatures cannot express the divine intelligence in its fullest. That is their limitedness. And therefore, the best creation of this thing is human. And Shankaracharya says, Jantu nam narajanma durlabham. Of all the 84 lakh species that our scriptures talk of various things, right from a small single cell animal all the way to human beings, the best birth is a human birth. And we have to realize that and make good use of it. And the best use of human birth is when we truly realize who we are. That is, we are Brahman only manifesting as Jivatman in this body-mind complex. This realization, the moment it comes, our intelligence becomes Brahman's intelligence. It means it knows everything. How did our rishis find the distance between moon and earth or sun and earth? And how did they find the diameter of earth? Or how did they even think that earth is a round thing? When the whole earth looks flat, they didn't go into the space with being an astronaut. And how did they know that earth is round? All this is there in the scriptures. How did it happen? Without even one scientific instrument, without even one space research. Because they had this cosmic intelligence, then their intelligence became purer and merged with the divine intelligence. They just knew everything. They just knew everything because their intelligence became divine intelligence through their continuous purification of mind. But initially people got so busy with the realm of insight that the outside world looked like it's an immaterial thing. But the true man of wisdom is that who can keep a balance of outside and inside. But if he has to choose between the two, he'll always choose the inside, if it comes to that. And all this knowledge was intuition. Intuition because this intelligence, when it joins the cosmic intelligence, in that moment intuition happens. We call it intuition, but the truth is, human intelligence has now broken its barriers and joined the divine intelligence. That is called intuition. So when a benzene is discovered as a delocalized electrons over 6 carbons, and Kekule says that I saw a snake in my dream catching its own tail. I think benzene is like that. And he declares that it is an intuition, what we call as accidents or what is called serendipity or something in science. These are all intuitions. That moment when the person's mind just connected with the cosmic mind, the intelligence of God, intuition happened. And that's when the best of the poetry came out. That's when the best of the discoveries happen. All are intuition based. Therefore, this idea of purifying your mind, focusing your buddhi and taking it all the way to merge with the complete buddhi of the cosmos, the intelligence of God, is the perfect use of the human intelligence. Anything less than that is an underutilization of human potential. The intelligence that you are divine is the highest intelligence. And that once you achieve, infinite, your potential becomes infinite. Anything you can pick up any moment and you can understand just like this. You won't need any explanation also because you just know it by being that. That is the idea of these rishis. Why were they so intelligent? How did they discover these things? You're asking question, Aitareya Upanishad is saying this, but very fact that who even thought that this creation could have happened like this? I'll give you a piece of stone and tell you now decide how was it created. Very difficult to even think like that. But they thought that how supreme conscious awareness, that supreme intelligence is what is the ultimate origin of everything. And that has no form and no name and no matter was there at that time. Some people speak about in wonder, what is Brahman must be like? They can't fathom the beauty and the knowledge of this Brahman, that consciousness supreme. Then Ashtarvat Shrunot, people who hear Tathaiva Chanyaha Shrunoti means they hear about it and they wonder. But the crux is in the 4th line, Shrutvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. Despite listening to it, thinking about it, talking about it, nobody is able to fathom the understanding or the experience of what that Brahman is like. Nobody understands it. When do you understand? When you become Brahman only, you understand Brahman. That's why Brahmaveda Brahmaiva Bhavati, Mundaka Upanishad says that only way to know what Brahman is like is to become Brahman. So how do I become Brahman? Do I have to go somewhere and become that? Do I have to undergo some course, study, degree, like becoming an engineer or doctor? No, you are Brahman as you are, but your intelligence is all busy with lower things. Turn this intelligence towards the higher things, and Brahman will get revealed. He is there within you. The same cosmic intelligence is yours. The same entire knowledge, what is there in the entire cosmos, is also in you. Like the entire man's biology is there in one small genetic DNA. Like the entire tree is there in one small seed. Like that, the entire cosmic intelligence is there in yours, so to say, the limited intelligence. But this limited intelligence is the seed intelligence. The potential of this is infinite. Like seed's potential is infinite, like DNA's potential is infinite. It carries all the information within itself. Teaching this Aitareya Upanishad was not to fight with scientists. Idea was to create that wonderment in you, where you feel that how wonderful this whole idea of creation, consciousness is, how correct that idea is, and how did these rishis get to know of it without any instrument? Simply by their intuition. And as I said, your intuition is when your human intelligence meets the cosmic intelligence. That point of flux, that is intuition. That spark that happens is intuition without your knowledge. So these rishis, through their intuition, found out all these truths. Somebody asked, Brahman is, you are saying, is the witness and not the doer. He's just watching everything. In his sankalpa, everything is happening. The buddhi is the doer. Like buddhi has to pull the reins and the mind has to, take care of the horses and things like that. So who is the real doer? Brahman is not the doer, you are saying. Brahman is only a witness. So is buddhi the doer? Yes, actually the intelligence is all the doer. So cosmic intelligence is the doer of this world. That's why I said when Brahman started thinking, he was called Ishvara. And what was the other power? The potential power was called Maya. Like in a seed, the tree is hiding. Like that, this Maya was hiding in the thought of Brahman. Everything begins with the thought. So Brahman's thought of creation created this whole potentiality of Brahman was in his thought. The Maya was hiding inside the thought of Brahman like a tree is hiding in the seed. So this Brahman, who is the doer? Brahman is not the doer. Brahman's thought is the doer. And what is Brahman's thought? Brahman's intelligence. Consciousness, the intelligence is the doer. Then you will say, but the intelligence needs some hands, legs to do, isn't it? How can intelligence work on its own? So that is why this whole thing was, as I said, in the beginning when he brought out the world, he brought it out from himself. See, in this world, to do anything, we require minimum two things. These are called Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana. Nimitta Karana is the creator or the doer of the activity, and Upadana Karana is the material from which it is created. Example, a clay pot. Now, if you have a clay pot, there has to be clay first, and then there has to be a potter, and also an Upakarana. What is Upakarana? The instrumentation of a wheel on which the clay pot is created. So when you are creating something, all the three things are required. So potter is the Nimitta Karana, also called as efficient cause. The clay is the Upadana Karana, also called as material cause. The wheel by itself is the Upakarana, the instrumental cause. And the product that comes out of the combination of the three is the clay pot, which is the karya or the action that has happened. Now what happened during the creation? Who is the doer is the question to which I am answering. In this case, the doer is the potter. And what is done is a clay pot. From what? From clay. Using what? Using a wheel. So there are four things that got involved over here. The doer, the done, the instrument of doing, and the material for doing it. But where did this world come from? Where is the material of this world? It has come from Brahman's mind. Only a thought made this whole material come. And who did it? The thought of Brahman did it. Did he have hands, legs like a potter to shape the world? No. His just sankalpa is enough. And then what did he do? Does he need any instrument like a hammer and a chisel or something to start this work? No. His sankalpa is enough. And what material does he need? Nothing he needs. His sankalpa is enough. In the case of Brahman, there is no doer, there is like a physical doer, there is nothing like material to be bought or procured to create the universe. There is nothing like instruments with which this universe has to be created or shaped. Everything is within the Brahman. And Brahman is so self-sufficient. And the example given in Mundakopanishad is Yatha Urna Nabhihi Srijate Grihnate Cha. Like the spider. So these spiders, you should watch and you think of Brahman when you're watching a spider. You look at the spider, how it suddenly appears from nowhere, hanging in the air. But it's hanging with a very fine fiber. And where did it get this fiber from? From within its stomach. And then what it does? Like Spider-Man, it swings from this window to that window. And then there it settles down. Why? Because you never opened that window in the last 30 years. So it's stuck. So he says, this is the safest place for me. And then it starts weaving a web. You should see a spider at work. It's so wonderful. So intelligent it is. Correct distance between the two fibers as it weaves the web. Not more, not less. And there is a proportion in which it distances the web. The closer to the center, finer are the threads. Farther from the center, more distant are the threads. It is so wonderful to see a spider's work. Where is that intelligence in this spider to weave the web? It is there within itself, in its own mind. And where is the material to create the web? Where are the instruments? Does it have a protractor? Does it have a scale? Does it have a machine to do survey? Nothing. Does it have a CAD CAM software to design? Nothing. Its own intelligence is everything for it. It has a supreme intelligence within itself with which it keeps weaving. And whenever it needs more material, the more it spits out, more material arrives. And infinitely it goes on doing this and lives. And what happens after creating the whole thing? It goes and settles down in the center. And then what it does, waits for some nice fly to come and get trapped. And then a nice fly comes somewhere and gets, you can't even see the web, it's so fine. A fly gets caught in the web. And then the spider nicely has its meal and then sleeps in the same web. So we all land up with our broomsticks and the spider realizes, oh God, these people are finally going to clean this place up. Now I have to disappear. And what it does, swallows up the whole thing. It swallows it up. If you give it a little time and notice that tomorrow, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, we are coming to clean up. By 9 o'clock, spiderhood has swallowed everything. Because we don't give it notice, so it is not able to swallow. You don't see that. But you should watch spiders swallow its own web. However, we do see spiders swallowing its web. How, like when it comes swinging down from the roof. It becomes longer and longer and longer till it is hanging right in front of our nose. And you try to catch it, it immediately swallows and goes up again. As if it's playing. And this spider has these uncanny abilities. All knowledge is within itself. Who put that knowledge in that spider? Who gave the building material to that spider? Who taught it the architectural design? That is cosmic consciousness. That is the playful Brahman. It decides, I must create something which will be like me, which can bring out things, swallow it back, and enjoy the game. This is exactly how Brahman has created this universe. From its thought, I must create the universe, whole universe came out of him. How? The energy that Brahman was turned into matter immediately. The lokas got created. The forces that hold these lokas got created. And we give them nomenclature as Yama, Varuna, this, that. All this is nomenclature. I will call it water in English, you will call it Niru, or somebody will call it Jala in Sanskrit. And the scientist will come and say, it's H2O. Give me a glass of H2O. So perspectives are different. The thing is same. Likewise, this Brahman said, let me create Loka and Lokapalas, these forces of nature. These faculties of vision, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, the Panchabhutas, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, all these just came about. It is Brahman's one sankalpa, that's it. How? Like spider brings out whatever it wants and it eats it back. So it says beautifully in the Mundakopanishad, Yatha Urnanabhi Srijate Grihnate Cha, Yatha Prithivyam Oshadhibhya Sambhavati. Like from the inert earth, which does not seem to have any life. Suddenly grass starts growing. From the inert earth, life comes out. And also it says, Yatha Sataha Purushat Keshalomani, like our alive skin grows dead hair. Because hair is not having any sensitivity. That's why we cut hair and no problem with that. But the skin you cut, it will hurt. However, cut the hair, it doesn't hurt. So what is this magic? From an inert earth, a live plant comes out. From a live skin, inert hair comes out. From a spider's stomach, the whole world comes out of his world, his house comes out. Likewise, tatha aksharat sambhavati hi vishwam, it says. In the same way, from the indestructible Brahman, the destructible world has come out. It is so magical. From a dead thing, live things come out. From the live thing, dead things come out. Like that, from the indestructible, inscrutable Brahman, the entire world has come out which is destructible in its nature, seemingly opposite to Brahman's nature. But then this opposition is also noticed when earth brings out plants or skin brings out hair. So this is Brahman for you. Ascharya he is. So this Avyakta Shakti I was telling yesterday, the Ishvara is the Avyakta Shakti of Brahman. Brahman is completely Avyakta Rupa. In Ishvara, Brahman has an Avyakta Shakti, potential to become the world, because he started thinking. Next step, he becomes the world. How? Hiranyagarbha and this and that, which has taken millions of years of evolution. The science will go back and tell you a history of the world. It will run into billions of years of evolution. But it all, Aitareya Upanishad is a poetry, and they have used it in a one sentence, it has happened. Like when movie has to go fast, what they do? The child is running with a bicycle wheel, and as he is running, it grows up. In the next frame, the child is grown up. And in the third frame, he's become a man. Because they want to rush through these unwanted details. So our rishis thought this whole evolution, single cell, gods, are you happy? No, we are not happy. Okay, double cell, gods, are you happy? No, happy. Okay, now Hydra, now. So Aitareya Upanishad just fast forwarded the whole unwanted portion and straight went to the core of the creation, that is human being. Because the idea of Upanishad is to make us realize we are Brahman, not to make us realize we are multi-celled organisms. Spirituality as inside, who am I, who am I? So who are you to who am I? The outward asking to inward asking is the whole idea of spirituality. In the societies, I love you, they say, 3 magical words. In spirituality, the 3 magical words are, who am I? The moment you ask this question to yourself, Jignasa begins. Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the senses? Am I something beyond that? Am I the intelligence? Am I the experience? Am I the consciousness beyond the experience? What am I? Who am I? This kind of questions troubled our rishis. Because of that, they got into this investigation. Vastu siddhi vicharena na kinchita karma koti bihi, says Shankaracharya. Vastu siddhi means this knowledge can be found by vicharena, by investigation. Na kinchita karma koti bihi, not by doing crores of scientific experiments in the lab. By investigation alone, this knowledge can be obtained. Our rishis were like spiritual scientists, and their methodology was investigation, and their lab was themselves. Within themselves, they tried to find out what happens. So this is the whole thing of this creation and creation's idea.